is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. No.
Y'all, just stop. This is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. I am Tori. I'm in for Jeff. But don't you worry. Don't change that channel because Jeff joins us from home. Jeffrey, how are you, buddy?
Overexposed, I feel like.
You look like a ghost.
You look good. Right?
Yeah,
it's
you
too
look
much.
Too much. You look too white. Yeah, let's put it down. All right. We're going to get to, as you do that, we're going to get to Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. They were spotted out again on another of these low-key
much for Rite Aid. They went right back to that lifestyle. They were like, enough of this.
Is it not like Kim's choice, Pete's choice? It feels like it's a little bit of like, right, you, me, Erica's not believing this.
I am just thoroughly concerned by the level of fascination that people have with the idea that like they do different things on different days. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, there was pizza, there was Korean barbecue, there was a trip, let's play right there, date. It's like, it's weird. It's weird. Like, y'all don't do different things on different days?
Do you do extreme things, like go to Paris on one day and then eat at like a hot dog stand?
Okay, check this out. This is gonna blow your mind, right? So my husband and I went to Canada. We took a plane to go there. But once we got to Canada, we went to a burger place. So it was like a high and a low. Now, a month later, we went to Mexico. We stayed at a resort, but the next week, we just ordered in from McDonald's. It was crazy. It was insane.
Jeff, what do you think about all this? That is crazy. You got to pump the brakes, Erica.
First of all, shout out to our sound team over there because I just dropped my call. They picked me back up and you guys didn't even know a thing. But I just have to say shout out to them. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good. Oh, thanks, Tori. You're special. No, I think it's cool, man. You do something elaborate one day and then you get back to your roots, have a little slice of pizza. I like that yin and yang in a relationship, and I like to maybe go up to Vail one weekend and then I like to hit the corner bar. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that in a relationship.
He's very Staten Island to her Calabasas.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think people are really they fixated on this couple because on paper they almost don't make sense.
Right.
And I think that keeps everybody intrigued because we all, whether we know it or not, we feel like we're on a path and it's like, Tori, you're going to marry this person.
Right.
And Erica, we expect you to bring this kind of person back in this household. And like everybody kind of assumes, even though it's not an arranged marriage, you kind of have a type that your family's going to want you to go for or that you normally go for. And then all of a sudden this couple that only myself and Mr. Schroeder called from day one that this is going to happen. This couple that doesn't make sense on paper, it looks like it's working because, like you said, Jeff, that yin and yang, you fill in the gaps that the other one doesn't have, and it looks like I think this is going to be forever. I'm calling my shot now.
You think Pete Davidson's going to be Northwest stepfather?
I think you never know when guys are ready to just be like, Pete can be in these streets if he wants to. He's clearly on dates with somebody he likes, so let's keep it 100. The man's got options.
He does. He really does. All right. Are there some stars that are too big to cancel?
Yes. Tell me. I mean, I don't let it go to my head, though. It's just, how I live.
No one was thinking of you. Not one person on earth at this moment was thinking of you. All right. Snoop Dogg, though, thinks so. You were not, Jeff. On a recent podcast, Snoop said he's not afraid of being canceled and even dared anyone to try and said some stars like him are beyond cancel culture. Listen to this.
It's only believable if you believe it when they're trying to cancel. Because you see the baby, you see David Chappelle. You got to believe it. You got to know that your base is your base. You can't. The cancel community is not bigger than my fan base.
Interesting. So we're going to go around and find out what we all thought about which star's too big to cancel. Jeffrey, you are up first.
Let me just say something about Snoop Dogg. He's exactly right. When
Yes.
your
I
fan
agree.
base is bigger than the people coming after you, that's how you can't get canceled. He's exactly right. When you're me, I could be gone tomorrow. So that's the difference in cancel culture. But another person that cannot be canceled, you can't even criticize Beyonce, let alone try to cancel her. Are you crazy? You'll get canceled if you try to cancel Beyonce.
Erica's giggling. Erica responds.
big
It's true.
facts.
It's true. Also, I was very upset because Jeff took my person.
Beyonce's good. I mean, the Beehive is bigger than any cancel community. That's absolutely right. All right, Al.
Well, I went directly opposite Queen Bee, and I went with Kid Rock. And I'll tell you why. Because what he's done is his fan base rallies against and pushes against cancellation. So if he uses the R word, they love it. They cheer. If he drops a F-bomb, they love it. They cheer. Anytime people come at him, his fan base doubles down for him. So I would say I can't imagine anything, only maybe a venue. If a venue canceled him like that, but he's always going to have a place to perform. He's always going to have a platform. He's always going to have a fan base.
Erica, that's a good one. That's interesting. I like that one.
No, that is interesting. I went with Tabitha Brown. And I went with Tabitha Brown because I love her, but also I love what she represents, and it's this nouveau celebrity culture, because we saw Tabitha Brown's success and all of her accolades grow in real time. She had this certain degree of transparency where if you followed her throughout her career, you felt like, oh, you know, I knew her when she was in this particular situation and she was hoping that this situation happened. Now she's on the Ellen show, and I think we've gotten into this, not nouveau because it's been around for a while, but we've seen people's ascension, where ascension used to be something that was very much behind closed doors. So the people who are fans of her are truly fans because they feel like her success is like kind of their success.
That's interesting. And she's so transparent as well.
Yes.
Like transparent 20s, that's what I think we're going into.
Tori, what about you?
Thank you for saying that.
You have anybody?
Yeah, I had Oprah, and I just think Oprah to me, it means a lot, but I think Oprah to America is almost like too big of a brand to cancel. Oprah can sway elections with her voice.
I don't know if she still can.
I know what you mean, because as I
You
said
don't think
it,
so?
I wondered the same thing.
No, I mean, I get it. And look, Oprah is a name, but she's, at this point, I think in her career, she's been out of the public light for so long that I don't know how big her voice is anymore.
I think Oprah's favorite things are still like...
Yes, but I think her favorite, but that's materialism, and that is what America is. When we start talking about ideological things, we start talking about, I think you should vote for this person. I think Oprah did have some sway in 1988, 1997. I think she could. Dude,
she got Obama 1 million votes from one recommendation.
Yes, but that Obama was how many years ago?
That was still, you're saying 97, that's 2008.
Yes, but she was more relevant 14 years ago than she is now. She's enjoying her retirement, and when you do, no different than Obama. You see Obama, he's on a yacht with Clooney.
I know.
He's not talking politics.
No, but I think she's concretized as like, Clooney. I think she's in there as American culture. You can't remove that or mar that in my mind.
Yeah, but she's like Sting. Like, she's like somebody you know for one name, but like, I don't know if the power is
I don't think you're giving enough respect.
I'm talking about being a household name.
Yeah, that's Oprah.
Yeah.
That is Oprah. And
she goes by one name.
Yeah, Cher, Madonna, Prince.
Wow.
She's in that one name area.
I went to a dog park once, and this guy just had a shirt that said Sting stinks. And I went and I said, what's wrong with Sting? And he goes, if you have to ask, you don't know.
Oh, wow.
So weird.
Why would you
Well, if you have to advertise it, apparently everybody don't know.
It was so he hated Sting. All right. Selling Sunset star Chrishell Stause is dishing on a couple of her exes in her upcoming memoir under construction. Chrishell says 2 of her exes love bombed her by overwhelming her with affection. In her book, she said she was so blinded by the love bombs, she failed to see any red flags in the relationship. She was referring to Justin Hartley, who blindsided her with a text saying he was filing for divorce, and ex-Keo, who she met on Dancing with the Stars. She publicly accused him of lying to her after 3 months of dating. Jeff, what do you think about love bombing? Is that a thing or an excuse?
No, listen, it could be a turnoff if I'm reading it right. Does it mean like you're coming on a little bit too strong and you push the relationship a little bit too fast? That's kind of my definition of love bombing. And if that's so, it's a turnoff for me if someone tries to speed up the relationship like that.
What do you think, Erica?
Yeah, I had somebody try to love bomb me, and then when I didn't respond the way that he felt like I should have responded in that moment, he went like
angry,
ballistic. Yeah,
Really?
it was like very where I'm like, yeah,
wow,
like I'm literally divorced. Like I'm not trying to like get married right now. I literally just got out of a marriage. So it was just the strangest thing, and I was like, it scared me about dating again because I'm like, is this what y'all doing? Because I don't recognize this era.
Well, don't let it block you from those red flags. Think like a matador. Red, run.
But it's hard because if you like the person and you're like, wow, I met this new person, we're going on dates, and they're telling me they love me already, a lot of people that are looking for that are like, oh my gosh, this is great. But I think I can definitely see how it could be used as a tool of manipulation, but it's hard if you really like the person.
Right. You're like, you don't know me like that? I don't even love me that much.
Exactly.
I need a love bump for myself. Okay. Coming up on DBL, why is this Princess Bride actor defending Woody Allen? Our interview with him is ahead. And we've got a list of shocking facts about old Hollywood starlets you really don't want to miss. Stay tuned for that.
Closed captioning provided by
When we
We're still talking about love bombing because it's a real thing.
I might be a love bomber.
Who?
Me?
You?
Did you see Sierra's
I can
face?
see that.
She goes,
bombing is very much a manipulation. It's insincere. It's like you shower affection. I love you, but then
like Tristan Thompson?
you're out. Yeah, or you're lying. There's some
It's
manipulation
not genuine.
involved.
There's no genuine part of love.
At some point, not.
like you're falling hard really fast.
I like to go fast and hard when I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
Oh no, I don't mean it like that. I mean I am a codependent, serial monogamous. I am better with a companion.
But I think you have to
But you have to
know
be
that about
discerning,
yourself
right.
going into, obviously you're not going to have any new relationships, but you could be very vulnerable to somebody that's
I was.
also like that. That's like you are, anybody's like, you go on one date and they send 100 roses to your house the next morning. I get it. I get but it's like,
Slow your
you're
roll.
really moving too fast.
Well, see, I can see there being two different sides of that because if you went out on a really awesome date, like I had a date that we went to breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Ooh, I
together.
love it. Yeah, honey.
And yeah, he did send me like a really nice bouquet.
Is there
But
music?
also, it was this situation where he was like,
I also
listen, I know that you're not going to be like, he's like, I like you. I want to show you that I like you, that I'm really interested, because he felt like there were other people who were looking to make me know that too. So it's like, that's like a competitive thing.
Absolutely.
I don't necessarily find that anything wrong to be very intentional up front, but I do think you have a tendency to like project onto other people what you want them to be when you're love bombing someone because you're trying to be like, you fit at least enough categories in my life that I can like make you be the rest.
That's interesting. You made me think about something. I know we got to go, but it's just like, well, in social, now that there's dating apps, you might have to.
All right, these days we know all about the faces of Hollywood. Some might argue a little too much. But what about the faces of old Hollywood? We've got some empowering facts about starlets thanks to BuzzFeed. First up, we got Katharine Hepburn. She was Hollywood's leading lady for over 60 years, and her relationship with Hollywood is she wore the pants. When the costume department at RKO stole her slacks, which were only acceptable for men at the time, she walked around the studio in her underwear and refused to get dressed until she got her pants back.
That's what's up. I love
That's
it.
what's up.
Pioneer of pants.
Pioneer pants.
It sounds silly, but it's serious. Like you have to, like, somebody had to fight for your right to wear what you want.
Absolutely. All right, next up we got Eartha Kitt.
Yes.
The legendary actress and singer once had a threesome with James Dean and Paul Newman.
Okay.
Jealous. She summed up their romp by saying white boys are so delicious. She even claimed the writers of Broadway.
That's my Instagram bio. That was amazing.
She said the writers of Broadway's Hair stole that line from her for that musical. That is rad. Can you imagine?
I don't know what you just read. Jeff, did you hear that? We're talking.
I want to hear more about your Instagram post, Al, or whatever.
I'll save you some time. You're delicious, Jeff.
You're delicious, Jeffrey. All right, let's talk about Angela Lansbury, who is currently 96 years old. In her 1970, her family's Malibu home was destroyed by a forest fire, and her son Anthony got addicted to heroin. On top of that, her daughter Deidre became involved with the Manson family. A fresh start was required, so they moved into a farmhouse in Ireland. Just packed up and moved. Okay. You probably never wondered who Hitler's favorite actress was, but it was Greta Garbo. He would always invite her to Germany, and she said if the war hadn't started when it did, I would have gone and I would have taken a gun out of my purse and shot him. Even saying she would have gotten away with it because she claims she's the only person who would never have been searched.
Wow, you talk all the time about spies.
Julia Child, famous cook, Second World War spy. True story. Last but not least.
Where's that movie?
I know.
El Chapo got caught like that.
You're right.
Right. Last but not least, we've got Hollywood's #1 box office name of the 1930s.
Me?
It's the drink we love. It's not you, Al. It's Shirley Temple.
Yes.
Shirley Temple had so much talent as a child that there was a suspicion in Europe that she was just an adult little person in disguise. Now, the Vatican actually sent out a priest to verify that she was indeed a child.
I don't like that sentence.
I did not like
weird.
reading that,
But
Jeffrey.
What was the verification?
Birth certificate. I know, for instance, Quincy Jones didn't believe Michael Jackson was the age and needed to see a birth certificate as well.
That's interesting. I mean, I've never heard these. I mean, that's really a compliment to her that she's that good that they're like, she has to be an adult. So who would have thought? Where did the drink name come from?
I could lie, but should I?
Yeah, make it up.
She loved this one thing on set, but couldn't enjoy the alcohol because of her age and just loved the bubbles.
All right.
Well, you swung.
I actually think that's good, Tori. She can't have a drink because she was too young, so that was called the Shirley Temple. That actually makes sense.
Wow. Good job, Jeff. I didn't even put that together. Nice job, Tori.
Thank you.
All right.
Is that true, Courtney, what you're saying? Okay, this is the real truth. She was at a restaurant with her parents, and she wanted old fashions because her parents were getting it. So the restaurant came up with a drink, much like I said, the Shirley Temple. That was virgin. Interesting. We'll be right back.
But it doesn't taste like an old fashioned.
No.
It's just.
We all know that. IRS began accepting 2021 tax returns on January 24th, but the agency is still trying to finish millions of 2020 taxes. Many of them are paper returns, which are taking months to process. And as Americans get ready to file their taxes, a top Google search trend is the question, how long is it taking the IRS to process paper returns? So let's verify. Are you more likely to receive your refund faster if you file your 2021 tax return electronically? Our sources are the IRS, accounting firm Keystone CPAs, and National Taxpayer Advocate Aaron Collins, an independent ombudsman within the Department of Treasury. Last summer, Collins' office found the average paper return took about twice as long to process compared to an electronic return. In her annual report to Congress this January, she said the IRS was excruciatingly slow at processing some paper returns. She found some cases where it took weeks just to open an envelope and up to 8 months for paper filers to get their refund. Meanwhile, electronic returns begin processing within a few hours, and most taxpayers received their refund in a few weeks. The advocate's office blames multiple factors for the backlog, like Congress requiring the IRS to divert resources to COVID-19 related issues, including the processing of stimulus checks. Keystone CPAs recommend its clients file electronically and encourage them to use direct deposit to receive their refund even quicker. So, it's true, you are more likely to receive your refund faster if you file your 2021 tax return electronically. Of course, that's not possible for all individuals or businesses, such as returns that require attaching lengthy documentation. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. Rifkin's Festival is the latest film from controversial director Woody Allen. And earlier we caught up with stars Wallace Shawn and Gina Gershon to talk about it. And yes, I asked him that question. Check it out. Wallace Shawn and Gina Gershon, welcome to DBL. We're so excited to have you join us. So first off, we have to ask you, Wallace, of course, about The Princess Bride. Everyone does. So do you think the world could use perhaps just another chapter of the iconic classic, or is that totally inconceivable?
My character died, so...
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I don't know, maybe sort of like that Sex and the City remake, the elderly version of the living characters of The Princess Bride. Could be.
I don't think anyone really ages in The Princess Bride.
Fair.
I think they stay exactly the same.
And Robin Wright grew up somehow.
She did.
It turned out that she's a grown woman now.
It's weird. I love it. Great answer.
Gina, you said that all of your roles are different parts of your personality. So what part of you is Sue in Rifkin's Festival?
I think Sue, there's a lot of Sue in me. I mean, I think it's almost the closest character. As far as, I felt very protective over, Mort, even though, and conflicted of how, just kind of the nice Jewish girl part of me, I suppose, to make it succinct.
I'm a nice Jewish girl, so I totally get that conflicted thing. Trust me, that's a very I want to be nice, I don't. All right, so let me ask you the question that a lot of people have. Woody Allen wrote and directed Rifkin's Festival. He has been the subject of a lot of controversy. Wallace, why did you decide to work with him again? You've worked with him a bunch, despite the debate around Woody Allen. I know you've written in The Wrap, I read your article, and I just wanted you to have the floor.
To be concise, I think he's really been the victim of a miscarriage of justice on the part of the film community. I think he's innocent of what he was accused of, and that it's quite tragic that people have withdrawn their support from him.
Wally and Gina, thank you, but I said Wally like I knew you, and I felt weird, so then I was going to change it to Wallace. So.
Well, you can't go back on the nickname.
I know.
You can't go from nickname to government name.
Okay.
No, you can't go back.
You can't.
It's weird.
All right, fine. Wally and Gina, you've been an absolute
You guys
pleasure.
are amazing.
Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to watch Rifkin's Festival, out now. We'll be right back. Thanks again, you guys, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Are you?
Well, that sound means it is time to verify direct exposure, quarantine, isolation, fully vaccinated, boosted. All of these terms factor into what to do after coming in close contact with someone with COVID-19. Viewer Brenda reached out asking to verify, does vaccination status dictate whether you quarantine? Does that mean fully vaccinated and boosted before symptoms develop? No quarantine if you've been exposed? And what if you live with someone who likely has Omicron but hasn't received test results back? Should you quarantine even if you are vaccinated and boosted with no symptoms? Well, to verify, I looked at the CDC's isolation and quarantine guidelines updated December 27th, and I talked to Dr. Cynthia Snyder, infectious diseases physician with Cone Health. The answer to both questions is yes. The CDC's new guidance says if you were exposed to someone with COVID and you are not vaccinated, or your last vaccine was 6 months ago or longer, you should stay home for 5 days, then continue wearing a mask around others for 5 days. But if you've completed your vaccine series or taken a booster in the last 6 months, you don't have to quarantine. Instead, wear a mask around others for 10 days and test on day 5. The CDC's rules, however, make no mention about what to do if your exposure is within your household. So here's Dr. Snyder's recommendation.
Yes. Somebody who has somebody who's positive in the household has the greatest risk of converting over and getting the infection, even if you're fully vaccinated. So the guidance I give for folks is to stay home. If you have the capacity to quarantine and stay home, you should.
She also said to test as soon as you find out your partner or child is positive. And if you're negative, retest in 3 to 5 days just to make sure. In conclusion, it's true, you don't have to quarantine after direct exposure as long as you are recently fully vaccinated or boosted and have no symptoms. But you should quarantine even if vaccinated and boosted if someone in your house is positive or symptomatic. All that said, if at any point you develop symptoms, you need to test right away and isolate for 5 days if positive. The CDC says if you have little to no symptoms after those 5 days, you can leave your house but continue masking for 5 additional days. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
More than 24 House members from both sides of the aisle are calling for House leadership to swiftly ban members of Congress from owning or trading stocks while in office. The 25 Democrats and 2 Republicans say members of Congress should be focused on their jobs instead of trying to make a quick buck. The push comes after several lawmakers generated controversy over trades at the beginning of the pandemic. North Carolina Senator Richard Burr is still under investigation by the Securities and Exchanges Commission. Right now, the Stock Act theoretically bans members from profiting from insider trading, but experts say it's nearly impossible to regulate. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi initially rejected a trading ban, saying this is a free market, but has since changed course, indicating her support. She's also reportedly pushing to levy higher fines for violations of the Stock Act.
Welcome back. With the flu and COVID sweeping the nation, just how safe is your home from the flu Rona? We're talking about it in today's healthcare update, sponsored by GoHealth. So according to the American Cleaning Institute, there's some ways to germ-proof your house. First up, wash those bed sheets every 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
I know, and more often if someone is sick. Next, swap out your kitchen sponges more often during the winter.
That's a big one.
Lastly, if you plan to have people over, keep the house ventilated with open windows or air purifiers. If you're looking for a health insurance plan, GoHealth makes it easy to enroll. Call 1-800-650-2534 or visit GoHealth.com to find the plan that's right for you. Can you guys name what's in a Shirley Temple?
I think, Erica, you tended bar.
Grenadine.
Yeah, it's Sprite with the splash of grenadine.
That's it?
Or 7-Up or whatever your lemon lime beverage is.
I thought it was way more confusing.
No,
the
they just put a
from
little.
the grenadine is probably red for Shirley Temple's hair.
Oh.
Jeff is putting it together over there. I've never thought about this before. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and grenadine.
She was a redhead?
I didn't know. I thought she was
so.
blonde.
I don't know. She was always
Actually,
in black and white.
I'm not 100% on that.
Strawberry blonde. I love
I'll tell you, that was a great guess.
And you know what? Jeff is also delicious, as we've learned from Eartha Kitt.
Oh my God.
DBL is new every day.
Eartha Kitt.
We'll be back
I can't
Monday.
believe we didn't address that.
How awesome
Oh my
is
God.
it?
I didn't want to touch it. I'm be honest.